I bet you can tell me what in that story that I just read is not actually in the biblical telling of the story, is it? Because we usually tell that story as a story about Peter doubting faith in Jesus and in God. And it's about how you should have faith in God and in Jesus. Sure. But we tell it that way because only one person walks on the water. Jesus. Because it's Jesus. I don't know if you've tried. In fact, there's a beautiful lake here. Anybody? You want to try? It's physically impossible. I know illusionists, magicians do it, but you know they have a way of. It's an illusion, right? You can't actually do it scientifically. You can't. You're too heavy. I am too. I didn't mean anything by that. But we're heavier than water, so we sink. We then float. But you know what I mean. You can't walk on the water. Except Jesus does. And so therefore, Jesus must have some unnatural or supernatural power to be able to do that. Well, of course he does. He's Jesus. Except he's not the only one who walks on the water. Peter walks on the water. He gets out of the boat and he walks on the water. He only starts to sink when he becomes afraid. He is actually doing it. He starts to sink, Jesus saves him. Sure, it's a miracle story that tells you that Jesus is the Son of God, of course, because in the Bible, it's telling of the story, that's how it ends. The disciples in the boat all think, oh, this must be the Son of God. Sure. He's still not the only one who walks on the water. So maybe part of the miracle is Peter walks on the water. He only stops walking on the water when he's too afraid. Wouldn't it be a miracle if we couldn't be afraid? What is the most commonly said thing by Jesus in the New Testament? Don't be afraid. It's not love your neighbor. It's not God is love. It's not love everybody. It's not all of that stuff. It's don't be afraid. Imagine what we could do if we weren't afraid. I bet we could do some pretty miraculous things. That's the thing about miracles, isn't it? They happen. And we go, how could that have possibly happened? It's a miracle. The thing is, it did, which means it can. It would truly be a miracle if we'd all perhaps start believing a little bit more positively in our ability to do things. Why? Because God is in all things. God is in us. God is in this beautiful nature that we are sitting in the middle of. God is the power of love and creativity. God is the energy of life. It's only a miracle until it actually happens. Which kind of begs the question, why do we keep calling these stories of things that Jesus does miracles? Because the reason he's doing it isn't to show you he's powerful. It's to show you you are. This is Jesus trying to show us, once again, how the Spirit of God is alive in each of us. Peter's problem wasn't that he didn't believe in Jesus. It was that he didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe in his connection to the water he was walking on, the storm that was raging around him, the world that he found himself in. And when he did start to believe that, he did some pretty miraculous things, didn't he? Imagine how miraculous all our lives would be if we could be like Peter and find our way to believing in ourselves and to believing that God is with us.